Things just keep getting worse for the Voice referendum, with declining support across all pollsters and all demographics. Fewer than 40% of Australians intend to vote yes at the upcoming referendum, at least according to recent polling, and this is consistent across pollsters. The Voice is not even a policy priority for Australians. Only 15% of Australians rate it as a top 5 policy priority, according to Redbridge. Cost of living, for example, takes precedence by a significant margin over it. Now, this is even the case, even though vastly more Australians have seen advertising from the Yes campaign than from the No campaign. It appears the more people hear, the less people like it. So let's dig into this, and if you've got any thoughts about it, well, let me know that in the comments below. So let's start with the overall polling. Overall, how many people intend to vote yes or intend to vote no? Because for the referendum to succeed, it needs the double majority. It needs to have support from not only a majority of Australians, but a majority of the states. But according to recent polling, well, it suggests that fewer than 50% of Australians intend to vote yes. And indeed, it could be under 40%. So for example, Freshwater has polling at 40% intending to vote yes. Newspoll 39%, Redbridge 38%. Essentially is perhaps the most positive, coming in at 45%, but even then that is far short of a majority. Resolve Strategic is at 43%. In essence, across all of the 5 major pollsters in the most recent polling, people are indicating they're going to vote no. Therefore, the Voice is going to fail at their first hurdle. It won't even get a majority of Australians, let alone a majority of states. We can also look at this over time. After all, one polling result can be a blip, but the trend is telling. For example, according to Redbridge, the percentage of people intending to vote yes has declined over time. Back in July, it was 44%. Then in late August and early September, it was 39%. Then in mid-September, 38%. Polling is falling. And this is the same with Newspoll as well. Support has been declining over time. This suggests the trajectory is going in the wrong direction for the Yes campaign. Now granted, a lot can change between now and the ultimate referendum on the 14th of October. Furthermore, polling is not always correct. We saw this in the 2019 federal election, and many of these polls have relatively small numbers of respondents. However, this isn't a great sign for the Yes campaign, and as Yes people are getting more and more tired of the Voice, the more people hear about it, as people become more and more informed over time. We can also look at this by state. Of course, that referendum needs to get a majority of states to agree to it for it to pass. But again, here, the Voice referendum appears to be failing. According to Redbridge, there doesn't appear to be any state that is actually supporting it, but they do lump together some of these states, so there is some nuance required. For example, New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland all indicate no. For example, only 42% of people in New South Wales intend to vote yes, 41% in Victoria, and 32% in Queensland. Now, Redbridge lumps together Tasmania, South Australia, and Western Australia into their own grouped together category. However, in that category, only 34% of Australians intend to vote yes. Now granted, Tasmania and South Australia might be in play. However, Western Australia seems set on voting no, largely on the back of the cultural heritage laws. So therefore, it would appear that at least 4 states are going to vote against the Voice referendum, which ultimately would cause the Voice to fail. It won't get a majority of Australians and won't get a majority of states, at least according to the polling. Now again, it's important for the No campaign to not be complacent. A lot can happen between now and the 14th of October. However, the polling doesn't look good for the Voice referendum. We can also look at this across demographics, because again here we see declining support and bad support for the Voice at the moment, suggesting there isn't even a shining light for the Voice referendum that they can really latch onto. For example, both men and women seem to dislike the Voice, almost evenly at this point. 40% of women intend to vote yes, 36% of men. It's relatively consistent. If we look at it by age group, well again here there's been declining support, although the only shining light is perhaps younger voters. People aged 18 to 34 intend to vote yes, at least the majority intend to at 54%. However, that is still a slim majority, and it's hardly something that the Yes campaign could rest back on. All of the other age groups intend to vote no. For example, 39% of 35 to 49-year-olds intend to vote yes, 30% of 50 to 64-year-olds, and only 28% of 65-year-olds intend to vote yes, suggesting rather dire polling. It's also relatively consistent across education group, with only some support in university-educated individuals. For example, 22% of people with less than a Year 12 education intend to vote yes, 39% of people with Year 12, 35% of people with a trade qualification. 50% of people with a university degree intend to vote yes. But that isn't really a majority. It's a bare even pass is not exactly encouraging for the voice referendum. 50% of people with a university degree still intend to vote no. Furthermore, if we look at it across income, it's also rather interesting, because it appears no one income group intends to vote yes, and is relatively evenly split. For example, 39% of people earning less than 50k intend to vote yes. But again, 39% of people earning more than 200k intend to vote yes. It appears that the Yes campaign is doing badly across all income demographics. And for people who prefer not to say what the income is, well, support is even lower at 31%. And the people who, quote, prefer not to say are generally earning rather a lot of money, because that's generally the response they would be giving. So therefore it appears the voice referendum isn't even doing that well with the wealthier demographics, even though it is often painted as being supported by the elites. It appears it's only a rather vocal minority of supposed elites that are actually supporting it. Perhaps the voice is getting the most support amongst people who are speaking other languages than English at home, at 59%. I'll leave it to you to draw your conclusions about why that might be. The situation looks even worse when we consider advertising exposure. The Yes campaign is significantly more cashed up than the No campaign. They can plaster television and social media with advertisements to attempt to convince people to vote yes. However, it appears the polling is doing incredibly badly, even though people have seen the ads from the Yes campaign. For example, 58% of people report seeing an ad from the Yes campaign. By contrast, only 31% of people report seeing a No campaign ad. I personally have not seen one. I don't even know that No campaign ads actually even exist. Furthermore, many more people report not seeing a No campaign ad. 35% of people are sure they have not seen an ad from the No campaign. Only 3% of people are sure they have not seen an ad from the Yes campaign. Therefore, it suggests that even though the Yes campaign is vastly outspending the No campaign, and even though more people have seen an ad from the Yes campaign than from the No campaign, the Yes campaign is still doing badly. They're simply failing to persuade Australians to vote for them or to support them. Now, this brings me back to the idea of policy priorities. Redbridge polled people on what their policy priorities are. Only 15% of people rated the voice as a top 5 policy priority. My interpretation is that Redbridge was trying to create a narrative that people are turning on the voice because it isn't a policy priority. People are more concerned about cost of living than the voice, and therefore they intend to vote no. I think personally that is a bit of a misdirection. After all, people can consider two things at once. They can consider both the voice and the cost of living. They can vote on one thing and the other. People are more than capable of considering two things at once. And therefore, people's support for the voice is not contingent on what's happening with the cost of living. Therefore, people might be voting against the voice because they actually know what is happening. It's not the cost of living that is driving the no support. Rather, it is knowledge about the voice, because people have seen the advertising, and when people are asked about their concerns about the voice and why they aren't intending to vote yes, people often report things such as the lack of details, or potentially the gaslighting about those details. They report things about whether it will actually do anything genuinely to help Indigenous Australians. They report things such as whether the voice will be racially divisive. They report various concerns with the voice itself. They're not reporting that they're concerned about cost of living and therefore voting no. Rather, they're reporting concerns about the voice itself. And therefore, it's a bit of a red herring to suggest that the economy or the cost of living is why people are turning on it. They're turning on it because it is a bad model. And in any case, that's a bit of a summary about the current dire situation for the voice referendum and how it is losing across all demographics, all states, and across the majority of Australians. Now, the No campaign certainly can't be complacent. The No campaign needs to consider its strategy going forward. The Yes campaign has significantly more funding and certainly is going to be making aggressive attempts to persuade people. However, it doesn't look good for the Yes campaign.